Okay, let's see. We are getting set up, hopefully. Okay. Sammy, I think you can on your phone request to join, or you can share this live video with others so they can watch too. So if you want to pull up your phone.
Let me see.
Hey, everybody, we are figuring this out as our first time, so please bear with us. If you have any questions and you want to drop them in the comments, feel free. We're getting started here soon. We got a couple more joining us. Hey.
Hey, hey.
So we're trying to figure out if you can share it on your end, either through your phone or through here.
Okay. Let me see my phone. And so the RTMP URL.
That's from your Instagram.
So will Instagram provide that?
Yep. Or you can just pull up your Instagram, and I believe you can ask to join as a host, and I can add you.
Okay, so
did that work for you, Sammy? I haven't seen it popped up. Just 0 for 2 today. It's gonna be okay.
Let me see.
Can you message Carol and see if she's doing okay on that end?
Almost there.
Yeah.
Oh, did it work?
Yay!
Hi, guys.
Why are you not on our screen? Hold on. Let's see how we can make sure everybody's on here.
Oh, no. Well, now you're gone.
Now I'm gone. Why can we not have 4? There we are.
Woo!
Everybody's here. Okay. So we were trying to make sure that I believe you can reshare it from your page. It should go live on your page. So that's what we were trying to navigate real quick. If you guys could try to do that. And if it doesn't work, then we will figure it out next time and make sure to record this and all that good stuff.
Do we know how to do that?
So pull up on your phone and it should have a notification if you go to the poll page where I'm streaming from. And then it should have an option to share it or join. Try to do that, and if it doesn't work, then we will figure it out next time and make sure to record this and all that good stuff.
Do we know how to do that?
So pull up on your phone, and it. Oh, are we good? Okay.
I don't know what just happened.
Technical difficulties.
Okay, so I heard the pull up on your phone.
Yes. And you can go to the Pole Fitness page since I'm streaming there, and you should be able to share it to your live, or you should be able to request to join.
I'm definitely on the struggle bus. It is not letting me request to join. So I think I'm a lost cause this go round.
Okay. We will figure it out next time.
Yes.
But we'll make sure to record this and share it out and all that good stuff. But yes, yay technology, right? Okay, so let's get started. So I'd love to go around and everybody, we can introduce ourselves and we can ask a couple questions. So I would love, Sammy, could you start and kind of just share, where'd my questions go? So what initially drew you to pole fitness, pole dancing, and how did you discover your passion for it? So kind of introduce yourself, where you're at, and answer that question.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for having me on your live. Very happy to be a part of this. But I'm Sammy. I have been poling for probably 2.5, maybe 3 years now. And my curiosity with pole was I grew up in a very sheltered home, and pole was definitely something that was super taboo for a long time. And I have a 5-year-old son, and shortly after I had him, I was just kind of, trying to figure out what my life looked like, what, the things I liked. And pole was something that for a long time was off limits. So I'm like, you know what, let me check this out. And the first pole class I went to was at Lansing Pole Barn. And I showed up to class and I was like, I was concerned that it was going to be like too easy, And that's not the case. It definitely challenged me. And I was like, okay. New respect level.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And was kind of hooked from there.
Very cool. Thank you. Sky Luna, you want to go next?
Hi, everyone. Thank you again for putting us together. I'm so excited to talk about pole, as always. But just my story regarding my journey with pole dancing. I came across pole dancing when I was on spring break in college. We went to Miami. We went to King of Diamonds in Miami, which was a really popular strip club. And I remember this woman, her name was Royalty Mason. And when she came on stage, her presence, her energy, her enthusiasm, how she just cawed the audience. I was like, man, I want to embody that. And she's half naked. I love to see it like that. This is exactly the confidence that I always want to exude, fully clothed or not. And so I remember being on spring break. I gave Royalty Mason all of my money. And at that point, I was like, I need to figure out how I'm going to do this. Of course, with the negative stigmas with pole dancing, in college at the time, I grew up Muslim, but I converted to Christianity, and then now I'm like more so spiritual, not really
Yeah.
religious. And I basically had a moment in my life where I wasn't really sure of who I was, and I remember that moment on spring break where I wanted to exude that confidence. So after a toxic situationship, I decided to find an adult hobby. I came across a Groupon, and I said, you know what? It's time for me to embody that
Yes.
confidence. And so I took my first pole dancing class. I was super nervous. I was afraid to show my body. I was afraid to be central in front of an audience or in front of people. And I remember seeing one of the owners perform, and I said, you know what? This is the energy I want to exude once again. So I decided to start pole
Yeah.
dancing, and it's been history ever since. It's like my passion now, and I want to change the world with pole dancing.
Love that. And do you want to share about the organization that you lead as well?
Yes, absolutely. So I am the founder of Pole to Glow. Pole to Glow is a social organization for aerial artists, primarily pole dancers. And the ultimate goal with Pole to Glow is to prioritize mental health while sustaining social relationships. We always have a moment where we, of course, are influenced and connect with people on social media, but we never really have that many opportunities to meet with them in person. So the ultimate goal of Pole to Glow is to create an environment where it's safe, it's supportive, and it encourages camaraderie. Yeah. So that is Pole to Glow. We do have a few events coming up this year that I'll be announcing very soon. And yeah, that's Sky Luna and Pole to Glow.
Thank you, Carol.
Hey. So yeah, I'm Carol. I first started pole. I honestly I went with a friend to like my first class, and I kind of went as like her support because she like really wanted to do it, and I was like, this will be good. So I was like, they ain't ready for all this. So I walked in there and I was like, oh, this is gonna be interesting. And the instructor, the instructor that I had was literally so awesome. And I just remember being like, I want to be her when I grow up. And like I just like fell in love with her, and I was like, I just everything about you, like I need this in my life. And like then I really had fun in the class too. Like I couldn't do much of anything at first, but I really had a really good time. So I was like, you know what? And I just kept going to class, and then it turned into like I'm gonna go every day because like this is the best part of my day type thing. And then it's actually ironic because that friend that I had doesn't really do it anymore, but I was like, well, I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
So I just literally fell just head over heels in love with it. And at the studio that I was at in particular, there weren't many like girls that were my size. And I just remember being like, man, I wish that there was more of like I guess like a movement for like plus size pole dancers, and like, a call for like the all bodies in this industry type thing. And so
Yes.
when I sort of began to feel a little more comfortable in my skin, and after I started to get more comfortable in like my um pole dancing, then I was like, I really want to start like performing and like getting out there and like just seeing or like showing people that literally anybody can do this. Like as long as you just have a desire to move your body, and like
Yep.
if your head's in the right space and you're willing to like, do what you got to do to learn everything and go to class, you know what I mean? So I really
Yep.
wanted to, just show people that you guys can do this. Like if I can do it, you can do it type thing. And
Definitely.
the response was just like incredible when I first started performing, and I started competing, and the response was really incredible there too. And competing is just a feeling like no other. And I know Sammy and I compete together a lot. Sky, I don't know if you have done PSO. I'm sure you have done similar things. So like, I mean, the feeling is just incredible. Just like being up there with people that are cheering you on and who you're competing against is such an incredible environment. Like Sammy and I have competed together, I think every time that I've competed recently, and we're backstage like for each other. And like we're like, you're my competition, but also my friend. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's and what other sport is like that? You know what I mean? Like it's just how cool is that? And it's just the environment was amazing. The people were amazing. They were so accepting of me, and they responded so well to like myself out there. Wow, what a community, man. So I think I fell in love with the instructor that I had, then I fell in love with the sport, and then I fell in love with just the whole community of it. So that was kind
Yeah,
of how I dove in, I guess. So yeah.
that's awesome. So yeah, I'm Sarah. I started probably like 13 years ago. It's crazy. I was a maid of honor at a bachelorette party. And I was also very sheltered and was like, guys, we got to do something scandalous. And so for us, that was a pole party. And so we did a pole party and I just fell in love with it and got addicted to it from day one. I did ballet growing up and I felt like I had missed out almost, when I had stopped dancing. And so I've longed for it for so long. And I just assumed, since I'm now an adult, that there's not like adult ballet classes. And so when I did pole, I was like, this is what I've missed, is moving my body. But now, as I'm an adult, getting more in touch with that feminine sexual confidence side, that especially growing up so sheltered, and I was even a children's pastor at the time, and so it was like that side of me that I was like, this is not wrong, this is not dirty, this is empowering. And so I fell in love with that and started taking lessons, and for me at that time it was really about weight loss. And so I had done it as fitness and had lost a lot of weight, and then life kind of happened. That studio had shut down and I had gone without for like 7 years or so, 7 or 8 years. And it was like, I missed it a lot. I'd see videos or studios around. And finally, we opened up another one here nearby. And I was like, yes, I can get back into it. And so started back. And now I was, married, mom of two, definitely gained all that weight back. And so for me, yes, it's still about health and all of that. It's more about like self-care and finding a safe place for me to just be me, and like to not be mom, to not be like, I was an elementary school teacher and like always wearing these different hats, and pole is the one place where I was just Sarah, and I could, just tap into that and take care of myself and be confident in my body, and in my skin. So yeah, fell in love with it, got certified, started teaching. And then about 7 or 8 months ago, I had the opportunity to actually purchase the studio. So now I'm the studio owner and living that side of the world. And I love being able to provide that similar experience for other people. And that's what I'm really passionate about, is just like you guys were saying, that this is for everybody, and that people shouldn't feel intimidated. People shouldn't feel scared, feel like they can't for this reason or that reason. Like, if you have an interest, try it, because it's so much fun and it's so empowering. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about with our first Pole Talk Live, is kind of those who haven't done it yet. They probably have a lot of fears and misconceptions and questions in their mind. And so what are some things that maybe we can talk about today that can maybe help them and answer some of those questions? So let's talk about if you guys had any preconceptions that were maybe proved false or maybe proved true, and kind of what your experience was with that. So let's start with Carol this time. You got something for me, babe?
Yeah, so I think for me, the first preconception was that you had to be some sort of like aerial athlete, to do this sport. And I think for me, it was like, oh, you had to be, when you see some people at competitions or showcases or performances where it's like they're gymnasts or ballerinas, clearly, like they've had some sort of training prior, and so it can be a little bit intimidating if you're someone
Yeah.
who's never had any dance experience, which I have not until I was an adult. Like, I think it was always my dream when I was a kid to like,
Yeah.
be a little ballerina or something, but I know nothing. So, so like, yeah, just dancing in my bedroom. That was it. So,
Yeah.
I think for me, I was so intimidated because I was like, man, I'm so far behind all these people in terms of like
Mm,
experience and, just the background alone. So how am I supposed to catch up to them? And I didn't feel like I was flexible, didn't feel like I was strong.
mm,
Um, So my first class, I was like, ooh, I am struggling,
Yeah.
And, me being the nervous, like anxious person I am, was like, I'm the only one who's nervous, and like, I'm the only one who's struggling. So,
You're not.
and then I think it was like my third or fourth class that I went, I finally like was able to like get off the ground comfortably. And I was like, oh, you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think going into it, I had in my head that I wasn't gonna be able to do these things because I didn't have that like training and experience and like
Yeah.
any sort of athleticism whatsoever.
Yeah.
So, and then when I started to see that I could do those things, it was like, oh, okay. And then I started to and like get to know the girls in the classes more. And then I would find out, oh, well, actually the only training I had was like, and I was like, oh, okay, so these are like normal humans too. Like these aren't like trained, born and bred athletes like I thought they were. So I
Yeah.
think, going into that, I had this misconception that you had to be some sort of experienced athlete or dancer. And in reality, these were just people just like me. And at
100%.
competitions too, you see these people doing incredible tricks and like performing these incredible routines. And my first competition, I was like, whoa, I was very blown away. And I thought, oh, these people have obviously been competing for years and trained for this like their entire existence. And, I would meet one backstage and be like, no, I'm a nurse, or like, I'm a
Yeah.
teacher. Like, I don't even do this full time. And I was like, that's so awesome. Like, they're just normal people. And I just thought it was so cool. And I was like, man, this really is just like anybody can do that. Like, you can literally have, this whole career in pole and still like, have a life outside of that, which is dope. And then, and then also like you don't have to have any sort of like experience or training to be a pole athlete or an aerial athlete. I think that's just so cool. And it's so inviting to all sorts of different people. And that's what I love about it. But yeah, so that was kind of my biggest misconception, is that I had to be able to do things going into it or have some sort of flexibility, strength training or anything. And in reality, I just waltzed in.
Just did your thing.
Just waltzed on in. Yes.
I love it. Thank you. Sky Luna, was there anything like that for you?
Yes. More so, it was hiding. I was afraid of judgment when I first decided to make this decision to start pole dancing. And when I was in college, of course, a lot of women and a lot of people altogether may consider, of course, exotic dance, stripper work, or any type of exotic dancing just to, make a means to an end. And I had a moment where when I decided to make the decision to start pole dancing, I was like, what would my college friends or people that I knew from college, what would they think? Or how would they perceive me? How would my family perceive me? I had all of these thoughts of like being judged by people. And in my head, I'm like, why the hell did I care about what people thought of me? They don't pay my bills. They don't do it for me. So why was I so afraid?
Yes.
So the first step was saying, you know what, I'm just going to take a class and I'm going to start there. And then I started to notice when I started posting on like my close friends, a lot of people were like, man, I've been wanting to start pole dancing. I'm just afraid, or I'm nervous, or I feel like I can't do it. And I was like, okay, so it seems like I'm advocating for people. Like I have to find a way to show people it's okay to be sensual. It's okay to be sexual. It's okay to showcase your body. It's okay to be strong in your confidence as a woman, as a person. And in my head, I was like, I was such a huge advocate for strippers. So in my head, I'm like, if I am in support of them, but I am now doing this and I can't showcase my ability, then I feel like I'm not an advocate. So a part of me started to like move through that experience and say, you know what? Like, it's okay for me to be half naked on social media. Like,
Facts.
okay.
Facts.
And that was the point where like my grandma looks at my story, my mom looks at my story, and I'm like shaking my ass. I don't care, y'all. And that was a moment of me being free. Like I felt so free in that moment. And my hats off to the sex workers, to strippers, to exotic dancers, professionals who are really doing this full time, solely because you have to be vulnerable. You have to find a way
Yeah.
to show your body and find a way to, of course, hustle and make money and that itself. So one of the misconceptions I had was I had to hide. I had to hide. And every single day, every time I make a post, I'm like, I'm not only doing this for advocating for this industry, but I'm also doing this for myself because I no longer care about what people think of me.
It's huge. Yeah.
Love that. I know. I'm like, get it, girl.
Go off, Scott.
Love it. Sammy, what about you?
I have two things. One that is really practical. Going into pole, I was very anti like grip aids or any sort of like assistance because I felt like it was cheating. And that is just so not true.
It's so stupid. Why did I ever think that?
So my advice to new folks, maybe after, you try one class and you fall in love, get yourself some grip aids, be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
They'll help you condition as your body warms up and gets used to this. So there's that piece.
Definitely.
Yes.
My other kind of preconception is that you don't have to achieve like pro level to get something out of polling.
Yeah.
As Carol, you had mentioned earlier, like from your first class, you're like, wow, that was fun. And like, from day one, like you can pull something out of pole. No pun intended. So I think, going into it, I was thinking like, okay, I've got to work really hard. And then when, I get to like this level, then, I'll feel this level of satisfaction with my, my skill level or myself. And that just wasn't true. Right away, I found a lot of, benefits and I don't know if satisfaction is the right word, but we're going to go with it. Satisfaction from like what I was getting out of pole.
Yeah.
So I would just say, try it if you haven't, and then you'll know if you love it or if maybe it's not for you.
Yeah, I love that. And yeah, I identify with all of you guys of what, that I thought, even still to today, I struggle as a pole studio owner with being afraid of people knowing, and you're right that like, I am missing out on being able to, reach out to so many other people in my life who could be experiencing this same joy that we have, And so, and I'm not ashamed of it. And so why do I worry so much about what other people think? So that's a huge one still. Right. And again, to what Carol was saying about like, I don't have the upper body strength. I'm too big. I'm too this, I'm too that. I'm not strong enough. I can't, like we just get these like negative thoughts in our head and so much fear. And especially as an instructor, like every single intro class, I hear it every week from students who just say, I've been stalking it for so long. I've been watching videos. I've been interested. I've been wanting to do it for so long, but I've just been scared. Like sign up, like that's my biggest thing is just sign up. Even if your friend bails on you, even if you have to go alone, like I promise you, it's going to be worth it. And you're going to find a great community, because it's an amazing place like no other. And I just, it's the fears that I think held me back for so long, even when I had done it before, trying to get back into it. Cause I was like, oh, I used to be able to do this and I used to be able to do that, but now I'm 50 pounds heavier, like it kept me from enjoying what pole has to offer. And that would be my biggest thing to people is if you have that interest, like don't let anything hold you back for sure. So awesome. Let's see. How How has pole fitness influenced your personal growth outside of the studio? So we talked about how kind of we all have our own lives outside of the studio, whether, you're able to do it professionally full time, or if, you started obviously with a different career, or personally, how has it affected you? And because I know it definitely is all encompassing for me, that it has changed how I present myself, who I am, obviously my career, all of that has changed from polls. So anybody want to start? Skyluna, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So when I first started pole dancing, I can't stress this enough. I just wasn't confident in myself and who I was. I suppressed myself, had a tendency to people please, had a tendency to just not value myself. And when I started pole dancing, I had this epiphany where I'm like, life is very similar to pole dancing. When you first start off, you're probably doing intro to pole, and you may start a move, and you may not get the move the first time, but if you keep trying over and over and over again, you become better at executing the move. So then I started to look at my life in parallel and say, well, why do I think I have to be great tomorrow? Like, why do I have to be this magnificent person making $1 million tomorrow? It's going to come one day.
Yes.
But it's not going to happen overnight. And so I started to, I'm a very spiritual person. Meditate, I do yoga, I pray every day. And I started to look at myself, and I started to look at my journey, and I started to think, all right, it took me I'm almost 3 years in, very similar to Sammy, almost 3 years into pole. And I realized I'm still not where I want to be in my pole journey. And I don't know when I'll ever be where I want to be. It's all this perception that we have of where we should be. And I don't think I'll ever be there, but I am becoming more present in this pole journey. I'm enjoying every single time I'm going to class. And so I'm learning how to be more present with who I am in my life. Yes, I'm not going to be the best at everything. I'm not going to have everything. But if I just keep trying and putting forth effort, I'm going to reach my goals. It's just a matter of time. And so that's one of the biggest things that I learned through pole, learning how to have patience and be present with your moment. And anything that you want, if you put effort behind anything, you'll be able to accomplish it.
So good. Definitely. Sammy, do you have any kind of insights into how pole has affected your personal life outside of the studio?
Yeah, it's definitely impacted me in a pretty big way, especially in the last maybe 6 or 8 months. Around May, actually, I talked to Carol. We were at a PSO competition together, and before that, we knew each other, but we didn't, really hang out too much. And I had seen that she was going to be performing in some different showcases, and I was like, you know what? I enjoy performing. Like, I want to kind of get into this, but I don't know where to start. And she was like, girl, I got you. Like, here. And like, same day, she sent me over some links. And then that started my like pole performing journey, if you will. So I have been, traveling all over the States, performing in different pole shows. I've gotten to meet a ton of really incredible people during that journey. So that has opened just a lot of different doors for me that I didn't maybe anticipate for myself. So that's been super exciting. And Skyluna, you kind of alluded to, but something that maybe started as kind of like a seed with pole is that if I put my mind to something and I commit to putting in the time and the work, I can make it happen. And yeah, I mean, a small example is I was struggling with Superman. For anybody that's not in school already,
yeah,
it looks like you're flying, but all of your weight is being held between your thighs on the pole.
Tearing them, yeah.
In reality, you're just hurting.
hurt a lot.
You're just hurting. You're not flying, you're hurting.
It's intense, to
Yeah.
say the least. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do this. I was like, it's going to hurt like a bitch, but we're going to do this.
Mhm.
And over the next month or so, every time I was on that pole, we were doing it.
Yeah.
It hurt like hell, but I'm like, we're going to commit to this and do it. And now we've mostly conditioned through that. We can we can pull it out anytime we want. And it's, but you know, it was just like a very small thing, right, in the grand scheme of things. But it was very much a lesson to myself of like, if I want it, go get it.
Yep. Definitely. Yeah. And that definitely affects our life, you know, when you're able to have those accomplishments and to set goals and reach them and to, you know, do things you didn't think you could do. Like that has to translate to our everyday life for sure. I love that. Carol, what about you?
Okay. So kind of like Sammy said, like, I mean, it's definitely one of those things that taught me a lot about myself. And, you know, like I said, I was just like a normal human being that walked in there and like I had no training whatsoever. And so I think for me, it was like I didn't realize how far I could push myself and like what my body was capable of doing. And like
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I could do hard shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I can go that I could do hard things. And I had no idea that I even was capable of doing those things. And so it really taught me a lot about like, you know, like Sammy said, if you put your mind to it, you can do it. Like, and the only thing that you have to do is just work at it. And so it really taught me a lot about like myself. And I feel like it just gave me a whole purpose in my life because, you know, I always say like people's muggle lives and their like pole lives.
Yes, I love that.
Because like without pole, that's like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like it's like, what? What
Sing out on Hogwarts.
Like, oh, you don't go and like, you know, torture yourself and bruise yourself up for a day, you know, and look cute doing it. Like that's weird. I mean, like, you know, and I think for me, it's like I can't even remember what it was like to not have that purpose. And like I had no idea that I would teach a fitness class, you know what I mean? Like that never like ever occurred to me. And now it's like that's my favorite part of like my week is when I get to go teach, you know, and like just seeing like how it impacts other people to like learn from me is so cool. And like I didn't even realize I liked teaching, you know what I mean? So that's a whole new door in my life that's opened up. And you know, getting to travel around and like see your friends from all over the country that you've met through this sport and like dance with them, compete with them, you know, like I'm wearing a freaking fur like I would never have worn this.
We love it.
The things that you like get to do when you pole dance are cool as heck. So like, you know, like I was just a normal like human being, and now I'm just like I get to walk around and be a princess every day and dance on a pole and like, you know, dance with my friends every day for a job. Like what? So, and what is happening? So, I mean, it's the coolest thing, and it has given me such purpose. And, you know, I also use like my social media platforms to like reach people as well. And I would never have, you know, what was I going to post about? I was never going to have anything to like, you know, that I could utilize to reach people and like, you know, spread body positivity and just spread positivity in general. Like this is my platform. Like this is my tool that I can use to do that. And like, I just think that's so cool. So, I mean, honestly, just like purpose, belief in myself and confidence in myself. And then just like a way to make other people happy and like just spread joy and just positivity everywhere I go. Like, how cool is that? Name one other sport that doesn't. And also you get to walk around dressed like this. Like, what do you mean? With your butt out. So like, yes.
And I think laughter is such a huge part of pole. You know, like there isn't a class that I'm not dying laughing at myself or with each other, you know, like there is a smile on my face. I'd say about 90% of the time. There's definitely the 10% with the Superman and other times where we're making some weird faces, but like there's just a joy with it. And I definitely am grateful for that. Yeah. And I would say to the community, some of my best friends I've met through Pole. And I think especially in the world today, I don't know if it's extra since COVID, because like I don't go grocery shopping, I don't go to restaurants, like I don't go in anywhere anymore. I'm just like pick up and go. And so I feel like in today's world, we're like work, home, you sleep, eat, you know, like one thing after the next. And I'm grateful for like church communities and, you know, groups where you're a part of that. But like Pole is that for a lot of people. And I love it, you know, that there's
It's
a
a
place
family.
where people can just like stop. And yes, we're moving our body. Yes, it's fitness. Yes, it's dance. But like to be able to talk to the person next to you, to be able to be present in the moment, like you were saying, and to move your body and listen to yourself. Like, I just feel like there's not a lot of places like that in today's world. And so I think that that mental self-care is so important for me personally in my outside life, you know, to be able to have a place like that.
And
And
think
so,
about like the
yeah,
emotions that you feel in a pole class. Like think of all the things that you go through, like frustration,
yeah.
sadness sometimes, you know,
Oh, yeah.
joy, extreme, you feel sexy, you know, think of all those emotions that you experience. And if you experience that with the same group of people, you're gonna have a bond with them, you
Yeah.
know? And then like, you know, when you're traveling, like one of my favorite things is to go somewhere like North Carolina where I get to see like Sky and all those girlies, or you know, if I go to PSO, I get to see Sammy and my PSO, you know what I mean? Like there's just
Yeah.
something about like the relationships that you form, even
Yeah.
with people that you're not spending a ton of time with, like the time you do spend with them, you go through so many different like emotions, both, you know, stressful and positive, that it's like you form this bond. So then events like PoleCon are the best thing ever because you get to like conglomerate with all of them. You're just like,
Family
and that's
reunion.
like the
Yep.
greatest thing in the world. Yes, and like it's just it's so cool. And like you said, you know you do form those bonds with these people, and then it's like I don't even know like what non-pole friends are anymore. Like, I do, but
What
like
are
I bring
those?
them
Yeah,
to
I have
pole.
no
Like I'm
clue.
like, come to
Those
pole with
muggles.
me. Yes. Like, I'm like, oh, you haven't been yet? Come with me. We can be friends. And then all of a sudden they're a pole friend too, you know?
Yeah,
Exactly. I love that.
yeah, I
Awesome.
agree. I agree with Carol because, like, for me, half of the women that I've met in the pole dance industry, I don't think I would have ever met them sitting behind an office desk, you
Yep.
know, and going to work and coming home, and hanging out wherever. I would have never met so many beautiful women from all over the world.
Yeah.
And I think that's something to be cherished and appreciated because the more diverse your friend group is, your pole community is, the more you know, the more you grow. And that's one of the biggest, I guess, benefits that I have with the pole dance industry for sure.
Sure. Yeah, I felt like prior to Pole that my circle of friends was very similar to me, obviously, you know? And while within Pole, you know, I've just met such a diverse amount of people from all walks of life, all shapes, sizes, ages, you know, beautiful women and men. And I love it because you're right that it's made me a better person because
Yeah.
of that, because learning and getting to know these people and hearing their stories like makes you a better person.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love to be able to hear from anybody if they have questions, if you want to drop them in the comments. And we can answer any questions specifically at anybody. And you guys let me know if you see any as well. Otherwise, I will keep asking you guys questions. Or does anybody have anything to share? Any events coming up or anything exciting that you want to share while we're waiting for some questions and comments?
Yes, I guess
Yeah,
I will.
go for it.
In North Carolina, of course, Pole to Glow is primarily in Charlotte, North Carolina, but we are planning a pole paint and sip. And so that will be taking place in March. We are still finalizing the date and the venue, but That is coming on the calendar soon. We will be pushing out the announcement next week. And for those who are distant and they're not in North Carolina, that's fine, because we are creating a paint and sip package for you, so we can ship it off to you as well. And so we'll be making that announcement real soon, but I just wanted to put that on your radar. And yeah, we're going to be announcing some more things, but that's the first event for 2024.
Yay, love that. Sammy or Carol, do you guys have it? Well, actually, we got a couple questions. We'll come back to that. That'll be our in-between. So Ra asked, what advice would you give to new instructors? So Carol, I know you're an instructor. Sky Luna, Sammy, are you guys instructors as well?
Yes.
Sammy, no. Sky Luna, yes. Okay, awesome. So I'll go first this time. So my biggest thing would be finding your own style. That obviously, if you've been to other classes and you've seen other instructors, you know, we think that you're supposed to do it a certain way, and that's fine to start with. But you know, find your style and feel confident in that. And then my other thing would be just coming from a teacher background. For me, it helped a lot to prepare ahead of time. So to prepare more than is needed, so that you're not like, you know, last minute scrambling. Like you just, if you have more than you need to do, then you feel like you can flow a little bit easier. So Sky Luna, anything?
Can you repeat the question one more time?
What advice would you give to new instructors?
Yes. The biggest thing, I started instructing July, well, technically 2023. Started in January, took a break, just switching studios. And then I consistently started teaching in July. The biggest thing is remembering balance, having a balance with the amount of time that you teach versus the time that you're a student. Right now, when I first started, I was teaching like 3 times a week, 3 different days. And I realized that, no, let me just stick with maybe 2 times a week for 2 different days, and really find that balance, because you'll notice throughout the week, you're constantly preparing curriculums or curricula, and you're trying to figure out, okay, what can I teach this month? How can I teach it? And you're losing the sight of being a student. And so the biggest thing I would strongly suggest is learning to find that balance. If you could teach 1 or 2 classes within one day, that's like my biggest suggestion. Also, another thing I would say is very similar to what we just initially talked about, was just finding your own style. I really want to introduce wellness into the pole dance space. And so I introduced chakra pole, which is, of course, utilizing aerial yoga, right? Pole dancing, the art of pole dancing, and finding ways to align your chakra. That helps me introduce wellness through mindfulness, meditation, tarot readings, and affirmations. And that has provided me with the most fulfillment with teaching. Like as soon as I'm someone else, like if I'm trying to, don't ask me to do no exotic. Like, I am not your girl. But if you want to do some affirmations and meditate on the phone, I got you. So as soon as you find your niche, just stick with it.
I love that.
Confident in that.
Yes.
So good. Carol?
Well, I have to know who this person is that asked that question. And first of all, sure, you're gonna do great. Second of all,
second
of all, that's besides the point, because I already seen this girl been performing for a minute. So like I've been knowing who she was. So my biggest advice is to never stop being a student. Because I can't even tell you how often I'll sit there in front of my little like class plan sheet, and I'll be like, how many different times can I do a pirouette and around the world and a fireman and a beginner routine, you know? And then I'm just like, you know, and I feel like I run out of ideas. So like if I go out of town, I always try to like take a class or like do a private with somebody from that area, or maybe like even just go to an open gym and like see what's going on in there. You know what I mean? Like just kind of like catch a vibe, because I cannot tell you how many times I think I might, you know all the things, and then I go to one simple private and I learn 27 million new things. And I'm like,
Yes.
whoa.
Yeah.
So, and, and it really helps because, first of all, it reminds you what it's like to be in that student role. And it keeps you, it keeps
Yep.
you in check a little bit.
Yeah.
It keeps you like with the vibes on that, so that you don't ever, forget what it's like to be in a new environment, in a new space as a student. And second of all, it keeps your choreography fresh. It keeps you constantly evolving and improving, changing your style, learning new songs, like just kind of everything so that your classes don't become repetitive. Because I have been in a situation where I was a student and that was kind of the case, like with the instructor. And she
Yeah.
was a great instructor, it's just there was nothing new. And I felt like, I
Yeah.
was loving the classes, but it's like I wanted to learn more things. And then it's like, that was the same things every time, So
Yeah.
I think that was kind of a reality check for me when I became an instructor. Like, okay, I just can never stop learning because I want my students to learn all the things. So then I have to learn all the things too to teach them,
Yeah.
So I think that's my biggest thing is just don't ever stop going to classes. Don't ever stop traveling and doing privates and, taking that extra step to like really level your game up so that you can help get your students together too. So
Yeah.
that's really important to me is that cross training.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I 100%
Yes.
neglected my own pole journey. Yeah, that is so true. And you start to lose the love of it, unfortunately, when it just becomes a job. And so, to make sure that you're taking that time to, yes, improve yourself and continue to learn new skills and learn new tricks, but also just like dance for the love of it, of what you did when you started, So that's so true. Very good.
Yes.
We have what are some suggestions for new newbies with the no hand strength, pain on the legs, etc. Sammy, you want to take that one? I know you were talking about grip earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So, depending how new we are to pole, there are just a plethora of what are called like grip aids, right? So you might have like Dry Hands is a really popular brand. If your hands are sweaty and you're struggling to grip the pole, there's things to dry your hands off. There's things that will it would make your hands feel like they've got Gorilla Glue on them. There's whatever
Yeah.
you might need, it's out there.
Mhm.
And grip aids were really beneficial in my beginning journey, because when you don't have that hand strength or that body conditioned just yet,
Mhm.
it's a challenge. So I would definitely encourage you, maybe ask, your instructor or some of your other, if you know other people that pole, ask them about what products they might use, um, and maybe get a couple to try because it can be a huge help. Huge help.
Yeah. And there are other things out there too. Like when I started, I bruised a lot on the top of my feet. So there's
Yeah,
things,
same.
like I can't remember, Mighty Grip, I think is the one that I had that kind of comes on and it has grip around the ankle, grip around the top of the feet. There's grippy leggings. There's a
Mhm.
lot of products out there, but I mean, unfortunately, but fortunately, and I don't know if you guys have a better timeline, but like your body gets used to it. And it does over time. You stop being dizzy, it stops hurting as much. Obviously, you build that strength. And so it's consistency and keeping at it. But
Mhm.
also, if a certain area is really bruised and really painful, like intentionally work a different area, like take some time to let that heal and try. Obviously you should be doing both sides because we're so all good at that, aren't we, guys? So make sure to train the other side, so that you're not continually bruising.
Yeah.
But that strength will come, the pain will lessen. Sky Luna, Carol, do you guys have anything else to add to that?
I really recommend going to Ho Apparel and sniffing around because they have like every grip aid you could ever imagine. And their owner, Susan, is like so awesome about like posting review videos on things. Like she's very responsive. So if you message her and you're like, oh, hey, I want a grip that's going to do this, like, or I want a grip that's going to help me with this, like, she's very responsive. And I know after there was a very, very popular grip that was near and dear to a lot of people's hearts called Kramer grip or the the Tough Skins, and
Right?
it went out. It went out of business, and she like immediately found one that was just like it, and she was like, "Hey guys, got you. Here's the like she immediately." So I religiously follow her, and like she has all the new pole accessories, all the new like products that you might want to try and like what their uses are. She reviews them. So I think following pages like that could be really helpful because you may not even know something exists.
Yeah.
And seeing someone, who regularly posts that, they might show something like, oh, hey, like Mighty Grip, and they're like, oh my God, that would solve all my problems. So,
And
I
it's
think,
HDAUX, correct? Am I spelling that right? Just so people know,
yes,
it's spelled different. Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Hoe Apparel.
And it's so
It's the
funny
best.
because Susan, the owner of Hoe Apparel, and she also just opened a studio called Studio Hoe, spelled the same way. I always tell her she's like the convenience store of grip.
Yes,
She's the
she has
Target
everything.
of pole.
The Target of pole.
Yeah, like
Yes.
that's her. I mean, excuse me, that's Susan. That's her all day.
That's facts.
But I guess another piece of advice is just for me. I did sports growing up. I wasn't the best, but I did a few sports, and what I realized is recovery is really important. Pole dancing is an extreme sport, and it's really important for us to focus on finding ways to heal our bodies if we're dealing with any pain. If I have calluses all on my hands, and so the biggest thing is recovery. If your body's sore the next day, make sure you're taking Epsom salt bath, soak your body for a little bit just to help relax your muscles. Another thing is like gym that I have is Working Hands. It's a lotion. You can get it from anywhere. You can get it from Walmart, Target, whatever. Typically, as you're polling, your hands basically have to reconstructed skin, and that is, of course, forming calluses, just so your body can get used to polling. One of the things about Working Hands is it helps soothe the calluses so they don't worsen. And so one of the things that I used to do after pole practice is to help build my grip strength. I would recover by putting on Working Hands the night before. Anytime I pole, I wash my hands with Dawn dish detergent to get rid of the oil. But every single day or every single week, I would make sure to recover through yoga, through stretching. Active recovery is so important. Even sit in a sauna is really important for recovering your muscles.
Yeah. You're an athlete for sure. Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
Yes.
I would just add to that really quick, like water. Drink water. I know we hear all the time, every day, but do it. I don't. I'm so bad at it, and
at least a drop of water.
I can. And I know I'm bad. I feel I'm bad at it. So definitely drink the water before, during, and after.
Yes.
Also, a handy product to try is Arnica products, like Arnica gel or Arnica cream. That will help with the bruises. It also helps with like burns too. So sometimes, the pole can leave, redness. The Arnica gel will help take the sting out of that. And it also will help your bruises heal a little bit quicker.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love Arnica. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never heard of them. I have to go stalk that page.
Right,
for a
we're
minute and
learning
get all the
stuff.
things.
Your picture.
Okay, couple
pesky
more.
stuff.
What advice would you give to polers who compare their pole journey to others?
Stop it.
Oh my
Who
God.
wants
Stop
it?
that.
Who
Stop
wants
it right
it?
now.
I'll take that one real quick.
Take it.
That one. I once again constantly I was known to mentally known to always compare myself to others because I equated someone else's success to my to me looking at myself wondering why am I not as successful.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I had to remind myself is a lot of people have different backgrounds. We'll all take the same intro to pole class, and we'll realize that based off of our body type, our previous experience, a lot of people may progress or they may not be as progressive solely because of our backgrounds, and you have to give yourself grace. One of the things I had to tell myself was, just because I'm not doing all these flips and I'm not doing all this crazy stuff on the pole doesn't mean I'm not good enough. I'm good in my own right. And I have to start embracing myself. So what I used to start to do was say, I used to journal to myself. I used to write a note and I used to be like, girl, 3 years ago, I don't know if you were able to do any of this.
Right.
Now, look what you've done. Here's your rap sheet, and you should be proud of that. And I started to vocalize and share my story with other women or other people. And I started to notice everyone else is dealing with the same thing. So now what I'm doing is I'm very vocal on TikTok, where I'm like, hey, y'all, this is what I'm dealing with. This is my problem. And there's so many people who come out and they're like, hey, you're not alone. So now start to be an advocate. Speak for your younger self or your inner child, and just really try to find a way to connect and understand that you have to give yourself grace.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, I think documenting your process, it was really important for me, you know, that you start from day one, if you can, videoing, or, you know, even just writing down what moves you're doing and seeing your progress along the way, you know, setting those goals for yourself. And whether it's competitions or performances, giving yourself something to work towards, because all of those things are only reliant on yourself. It's not reliant on anybody else and their journey. It's just you. And so if that is, you know, getting your feet up off the floor, like that is a great first step, while somebody else is climbing the pole on their first day and that pisses you off. Like, I understand that. I do. As an intro teacher, I see it and I see the pain and I see the hurt. But the important part is that you are reaching your goals, no matter what those goals are. And so setting those goals, be intentional about recording yourself or whatever, whether it's journaling or videos. And yeah, I love being able to, you know, the idea of sharing that out too, you know, that you're allowing other people and that same freedom and that same, you know, spirit that you have to be able to do that and encourage them on their journey. By you doing that for you, you're allowing other people to do that for themselves. Yeah. Anybody else?
I think for me, I have to remind myself, you know, that what you're seeing is surface level. So you're seeing what they want you to see, especially if it's social media. Like, God, I can't, like, I'm posting the things that I'm proud of that I did and that are like some of my best things. And like, I'm not posting all the crap that I mess up, and I'm not posting all the times where I'm like, like I'm like in literal distress. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not posting all of that. You know, and I think especially when we compare ourselves to Instagram videos or TikTok videos or even things that we see at like other showcases and stuff, like those are things that people have like fine-tuned and worked on for months and months and months, maybe even years. And you know, I was at a competition one time and I saw this girl just do the most amazing routine. She was in like a level 4 and I was just blown away. Like I was like, this girl's the best dancer I've ever seen in my life. Like I must know her. And I went backstage because I was doing like, I was kind of going up soon. And I saw her just like, she was a mess. Like she was bawling. She was like, I'm so unhappy with everything that I did. Like I messed this up. I messed this up. And here I am. I'm like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it just kind of reminded me, I was like, these, you know, these moments that we see, we don't see what goes on behind the scenes. Like we don't see, you know, and she was talking to her coach and like, you know, she was trying to cheer her on.
She there?
Was a blubbering mess, you know, and like I get it, like because if you work so hard and you think you mess something up, like that can be really emotional. And like, but it just kind of showed me like, you know, what we see on stage and what we see on Instagram and TikTok, like that's just a little tiny snippet of you know what really goes into things. And like you know, so if I mess something up like a few times in class, like, you know, I'm just like at the end of the day, I'm messing up just as much as everybody else is probably like in my own way, finding my own new way to mess things up. But you know, but I'm doing it. And I think you just have to remind yourself like it's okay to, you know, take your own route to learn things. It's okay if you have to adjust things to learn different ways, or maybe spend more time on one thing than another, because at the end of the day, we all have to do that in some fashion. Nobody walks into pole and does everything perfectly the first time.
Right.
Nobody. Like, and if they do, I'm really jealous.
Right.
They are a god. But, so I think that's just the biggest thing that I have to remind myself. And, and I think at the end of the day, we just all have to remind ourselves of that in order to get through those difficult times. And obviously we love the successes, but it's those like really challenging times that are going to be the times where you really have to like just kind of hype yourself up and be like, you know what, I couldn't get this today, but I did do this today. And maybe I struggled with this, but I'm gonna get it tomorrow. Just always keep hyping yourself up. Never quit. I'm like the number one hype woman at all times. That's like my goal. I strive to be that.
She is hands down the best hype
that is
woman
my literal
ever.
goal. If I be anything, if I want to be anything, it's that.
Love it.
And so like, if you aren't doing it for yourself, I will do it for you, and I will find you and do it for you. And I will force love upon you. But so yeah, I think that's my biggest thing about that.
Okay. One more. Oh, sorry, Sammy, you got something?
Go
ahead.
Super quick. I would just say, like, we are our own worst critics.
Yes.
I don't know why, but it's true.
Facts.
No one's judging you. No one's judging you. You are, but so from that, I would just say, pole isn't necessarily always about the next trick or reaching a certain level. I would just say enjoy the journey. Like pole is it can be a lot of work, mentally, physically, emotionally. So just enjoy the space you're in, like I said, it's sure. Could I work a lot harder and push myself more and get to that next level? Absolutely. But knowing that
I'll die.
yes, right.
And I'll hate it.
I enjoy where I am in pole right now. I love the connections I've made. I love the dancing. Like, it's a very creative outlet for me. So I recognize that. Could I do more? Sure. But it's not in my capacity right now. I don't necessarily want to. So I'll keep working at it. But it's our own journey. So, however you want to take that journey, that's up to you.
Yeah. It's good. It's really
like Miley Cyrus said, it's the climb.
Yes.
I mean, she was literally.
Yes. Climb. Okay, one more question. Any suggestions on getting out of your head and just saying, F it, I don't care, I'm giving this my absolute all?
Oh, that's a good one.
If I can be honest, showcases and always signing up to perform is me saying, F it, I'm going to just give it my all. Like, I'm telling you, I don't know what the heck I'm going to do when I go on stage, but the thought of saying, you know what, I have this scheduled date.
Yep.
I don't know what I'm going to do, but I now have a goal that I want to meet. And all I have to do is just try my best.
Yeah.
Yes, the first time that I may do it may not be up to my liking, but the more I keep doing it, I'm going to start to notice the progress. So for me, the best thing I learned was learning how to get comfortable with the uncomfortable, moving through fear, because fear is fake evidence acting real. So the little thoughts that you have in your mind, it's the ego that's talking. And so you have to understand that you have to move through that and really speak out. Anytime there's a negative thought in your mind, you have to speak an affirmation to honestly balance out or correct that thought. And the best way that I know how to translate that into the physical realm is to say, you know what, if there's a showcase going on, or if there's something I want to do, I'm going to just sign up for it. I don't know if I'm prepared. I don't know if it's planned. Going back to what Carol said, we started traveling and doing workshops and performing. And next thing you know, Sammy's doing it too. Yeah. That's honestly the key. That's the key to moving through fear and getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. Just say, F it, I'm going to just do it. Just be like Nike.
Just do it. Do it now.
Yeah.
Do it.
I love that.
I have quite literally heard Sky Luna say that exact phrase before she's doing a showcase, and then I have quite literally seen her do the most amazing dances.
Thank you. Thank you, Kira.
Quite literally, like she'll be backstage and be like, I don't know what I'm about to do, and then she'll get up there and she just does the most amazing thing, and I'm like, dang it, Sky! And she'll be like,
Such a
I have no
talent.
recollection of what I just did.
Literally don't remember. I have no clue. I've literally dislocated
Wow.
my knee because I'm like up there doing anything. Yeah, crazy. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah, I definitely think just signing up for it, you know, taking that risk, setting that goal, or having accountability, you know, whatever those goals are, having somebody come alongside you and yeah, take the leap. Definitely. I love that. Awesome. Let's finish up. Sammy or Carol, do you guys have anything coming up that you'd like to share about or any last words? Yeah.
Yeah, I am actually a co-founder of a fairly new pole production company. Yes, thank you. We did our first show back in November, and it was super crazy, super fast, super last minute, but it was fantastic. Absolutely amazing. Could not have went better. So we
Where
are
was that at?
in Michigan, Lansing, Michigan.
Yay.
Yes. So we will be hosting our second pole and burlesque show in Lansing, Michigan on April 4th. The production company's name is Vertical Vixens. So definitely check out their page, and we will have applications for performers and vendors and volunteers coming up. So you'll see that if you follow me, Sammy Hills #4 pole on Instagram. You'll see all those come through.
Love it.
So even if you are new to pole and you're curious about performing, submit. If you want to come check out Michigan, send something in. Our part of our mission is to, you know, have a stage for performers from all backgrounds, all movement types, bodies types, ethnicities, to give everybody the opportunity to get up on a stage and share their art.
Love that.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, and by the way, the one who asked that last question, she just said, signing up, F it. So,
Yes.
Yes. Just F it. Sign up.
So proud. I love it. Carol, what do you have coming up?
Hi. Yeah, I have so I also am producing some showcases now, which is super exciting. And we just did our first one in December. And it's called the Polesque Variety Showcase. So it's pole and burlesque as one. And anything else around those things are fine too. We're really open to any talents in aerial arts, you know. So our second one is going to be in Atlanta, and it's going to be in the summer. So get ready for things to heat up in the ATL. And then we're going to North Carolina next. So get ready.
Come see us.
I know. I was like, I already have the next two ready to go. We're doing it. It's going to be great. It's going to be lit. I'm so excited. So
awesome.
Yes.
Beautiful. And what is your Insta for everybody if they don't have it?
It's She's a Bad Thing 1 2 3. That's me. Oh, Sky.
Love
it.
Sky Luna, I know you mentioned your event coming up. Is there anything else you want to drop your handle? What you got?
Yes, so we do have a few events. You know, with Pole to Glow, we're all about just social gathering. Showcases, not so much, but more so like retreat. We are finalizing the location for our retreat, which will take place either in, it looks like it's going to be sometime in May, sometime mid to late May. And then we will be, of course, doing media coverage for PoleCon for 2024, which is really exciting. Instagram handle will be, of course, at Pole2Glow. POLETO, Glow, GLOW. And then, of course, I'm Sky Luna at POLES Poles. So that's pretty much it.
Love it. Awesome. So yeah, I do most of my stuff through the studio, Pole Fitness Studio. NC is usually on the end of them. And we have a couple events coming up. Next weekend, we have Souls and Poles, which is a heels group from Greensboro is coming, and they're doing a heels class, and then we're combining it with poles. So we got the Souls and Poles, and excited about that. There is a virtual option if anybody has a pole at home and wants to join us. And then we have our own little showcase competition as well coming up in February. And so still have people signing up for that, either to attend or compete, showcase. And Carol will be one of our judges.
Yes.
So excited to have her
Hey,
coming
you
down
know.
for that. So
I'm also competing, so I'll be backstage teeth chattering with
love
you.
it. So yeah, lots of exciting things coming up as well. So thank you guys so much. It was such a pleasure. This is actually my first time being able to meet each of you. So I love this community that we've already established today. And thank you for sharing your stories and sharing your heart, and look forward to doing more of it in the future.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you for
Yes,
facilitating
thank
and
you.
handling this, and I look forward to seeing more of this.
Good. Awesome. Have a great
Yes.
time, guys. Thanks everyone for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.